Welcome to the show. Coach Silipo in Florida, repping his Boston BU red with a little graphite on the shoulders, looking somewhat muscular.
Meshy. It breathes really well, actually. Really well.
Uh,
Under Armour. Well done.
I didn't know that. Yeah. How you doing, Under Armour? I didn't realize that was
Nice
mesh on
brand
top.
shout out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got the Under Armour, and then I feel like Yeti's going to come calling soon because I'm always drinking the Yeti cooler. So, when we get going, we might get some sponsors.
Speaking of Under Armour, Coach Odierna of Manhattan College and now Under Armour School. How you doing?
How you doing? Living the quarantine dream here, Corey.
Yeah, it's good. I'm glad to have another fellow Long Islander up near me.
It's also
Coach
nice
Silipo.
to be back on Long Island.
So
Sports
Coach Odierna and I were talking earlier, is the reason you got a one-way ticket down there is because you expect to basically start building a program in Gainesville and turn it into Division One?
I do think that's a pretty epic thought. University of Florida, if you're watching, listen, I could be a great head coach for you. John Odierna would certainly be the associate head coach.
Wow.
Within the hire, like we're hiring him as that. Corey, which position would you like? Second assistant, director of ops, volunteer. I figured your dad will fall into one of those two. Got to have Uncle Wink.
Yeah,
To keep
I'll run the
going.
box for you guys. I figured, it's the
Important
dirty
job.
work that no one wants to do. The not very appreciated, but very important. I'll just fly under the radar. I'll do what you
Great.
need me to do.
How's your
You guys-
how's your coaching voice? Does it carry?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's
pretty
important.
Yeah, it gets better.
It's
These
Not
are the
always
hard
been-
questions you got to ask, Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Well, I feel like we would just dive into the director of hustle to be our director of ops from FLG, or is
forget
Alexa?
about it.
I mean, who
Yeah,
do we get? Forget about it.
Alexa's the director of ops. You want Hustle being your SID, but just for lacrosse.
Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
All right,
Yeah.
University of Florida, just make sure you add that position as well.
Yeah, let's make sure we have all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, just a lax media guy. You need a lax media guy.
Today, we figured we were going to dial up Princeton Hopkins as our game to jump into, and we cheated. We watched a little bit just to see what it was so that we could bring in a drill that is also emphasized in the game. A lot of pick game in the first quarter of Princeton Hop. A lot of pick game on both sides. Now, if I had Sowers, I would do a lot of pick game. I think he is still scoring or adding an assist against Colgate. In-league rival. So we got a pick drill here. Pretty cool. I'll dive right into it. Seems like you're ready and eager to go, Corey, which I love when you bring that juice and that energy. So this is something that we kind of started doing late in the season ourselves because we needed to work on some pick game, and it's a great way to manipulate great defenses, without creating slides. You can manipulate defenses, and we play against the Armies, the Navies of the world, and Lehigh, and teams that are very good one-on-one. So you got to find ways to manipulate them. So this is a 4-and-4 drill. It's a high wing pick. Okay, it starts off on a 2-and-2. We're getting our OTC, which is our off the catch, basically. I am initiating the pass here so that because we always dodge OTC off the catch. We don't dodge off the carry. We want to manipulate the defense in that way, and that's one way to manipulate them because defense's rules-based changes based on your one pass away or two or so have you. So you can see we're picking from the crease, so we're vacating the crease. We're coming and we're setting a big little. We're setting a pick with a little, and the dodger can go above or below as he goes through this. Right, this is where the drill builds, right, and kind of carries some more weight. So if this is initial pass is thrown, right, now with a slide, we're throwing the one more, we're getting a step down, okay? In this next couple, you'll see here, pick is gone, we're playing one-on-one. Now that this ball is thrown, again, slide happens, we can throw this, we can shoot it, okay? Next one, coming in here, all right, we're getting a little OTC, a little glitch action on the film, gotta love it, okay? He rejects the pick, goes underneath. Now he throws it forward, and it's a one-on-one, right? So there's been no slides. All there was a hedge from the adjacent pipe. He throws it forward. Now it's a one-on-one. Everybody is acting as if they are in the drill, but they are not. It's a one-on-one. We're getting in a good position off ball, off ball, off ball. We're doing the same thing offensively, but this is one-on-one, dodging a late approach off the catch within our play portion of the offense, okay? Here it is again, going to the other side. He goes over the top. And now we get a switch. Now we're looking to attack that short stick. You can see, like a lot of coaches like John, we don't want to leave the adjacent so they don't, which allows the rollback and the redodge to the center of the cage. Here's another one with a pick. We're going over the top. They switch it. We're late on the adjacent here. We throw that. Shot happens. Okay. Now let's just say scenario here. This ball thrown. This slide is on time. We have the one more. Here's our one more coming from X, like you saw earlier with the one more as the step down, right? So here's another look at it. Okay, I'm coaching. Me and Coach P, we're yelling at somebody, having a conversation. Terrible fundamentals, guys. Sorry, just to throw this out there.
Stick work is sloppy here.
Sloppy. But here's a tough take to the middle. Roll back, double comes, which happens in these situations. Thrown, right? You throw the one more, you got it. Okay, a little flat screen, get into the middle. Now, here's that action here where defensively you can't cheat, right? You can't predict what's going to happen. We've been going under a lot of these picks. We end up sweeping, right? Our lefty, Timmy Ley, Massapequa product, how you doing? They called him 7-Eleven in high school because he was always open. Won a bunch of Long Island championships, but quite the nickname, right? We unfortunately don't call him 7-Eleven at BU.
Yeah, that's unfortunate it didn't catch on. Coach Silipo, can I ask a question in terms of drill setup?
For sure.
So this might be insignificant or it might be considered intentional, but the players that are not in the drill, do you have them along their straining line for a reason? Like, what's the deal there?
We want to play as if we're in our compressed state. We want to make it, because it's a 4-on-4, we want to make it harder for the offense. There's so much space for the offense when it's a 4-on-4 situation. So we actually want to compress it. And to be honest, a lot of good things in coaching happen by accident. This is by accident. Our guys just kind of creep in because I'm also pretty crazed about getting the next drill ready, being as efficient as possible, because we have a clock up here that you can't see that we're pretty stick to. But I think it's good. I think it's really good. It's us playing in a compressed state. It allows the defense to approach and the offense having not as much time to react, making it harder for them so game day can be easier. Here's a good one here. Kind of gets his butt kicked a little bit. Stays strong. We don't leave the adjacent. All right, well, I got downhill. Good stuff. All really good. And I think it really helped us in our progression in our pick game, both offensively and defensively, as we carried through the season.
I like in that drill too, that throw ahead to a one-on-one. I think that's really realistic, and it allows the defensive guy and the offensive guy to work on that off the catch, reading the approach, attacking, or defensive guy like having the spatial awareness to either you hedge towards the action or at what point do you break off and you have to go be ready to approach your guy. I think that's a pretty underrated skill for a guy guarding the ball side pipe, working his way out to X.
I feel like, John, better just as playing the position and then coaching it, but like that's got to be such a difficult spot on the field to defend because like I feel like one thing that's kind of under the radar is like screening your own goalie. So like it's hard to stand above goal line extended and like in front of the goal, and obviously if you stand like too far below the goal, it affects your angle to getting out to your guy. So like how do you kind of teach that, maybe off season or during the season to make sure guys aren't in like a weird spot where you're getting hurt?
I talk about getting to the ball side pipe. Predominantly I'd like you to enter X on the ball side of the field. One, because that'll allow you to eat a little bit of the space there. But our guys sometimes will be like, well, I don't want to screen the goalie. And that will come into play if you're lazy getting across the front of the goal, right? You shouldn't be sprinting across the front of the goal while a guy is in a threatening spot to take a shot from the wing, right? That's because you didn't get to where you needed to get until the very last second. Sure. Then you're worried about screening the goalie. So it's a classic, I always say proactive, not reactive. If you're proactive and you're on the right side of the field as the ball gets there and you need to anticipate a little bit and also just move as the ball moves, you shouldn't have your feet in cement. You should find yourself across the goalie's face and almost like flat on the goal line there, not directly in front of him blocking his view of a shot. But
yeah,
well, that's the battle. Guys will usually be like, well, I don't want to block our goalie. It's like, well, you were lazy for the 5 seconds prior. That's why you're blocking the goalie. It's not because of the schematic of where you need to be. It's you didn't do your job at the right time, and now we're in that predicament.
Right.
So I also talk about a little bit like Mike adjusted to or mentioned it, like we don't slide adjacent on the sweeps. We try to man watch there. And that's a skill that I've tried to adapt a little bit. If you're guarding your guy at X, and the ball gets down the alley, you know, coaches are kind of like steal space, but also guard your guy. Well, I've shifted that a little bit to read your guy. If he's deep, yeah, steal space. But if he's a threat, you've got to start to work your way out and be more focused on man watching your man so that you can approach him, because you really don't have slide responsibility. Like if anybody can't get beat, it's you.
Yeah.
You're like the one person that has no slide responsibility here.
Right.
That's a great point, because the stretch, I think, regardless of where you are, is the most dangerous thing to cover defensively. You know, like stretching from X as you steal space, like you talked about, from that pipe, and you can stretch to the back pipe and throw through the crease, and now you're in trouble.
Yeah.
Sorry, go ahead, Mike.
Well, yeah, I was going to say we do this drill for that reason, because that's a big part of our offense. A lot of teams play above the cage in that sense, because we have two behind for the most part, and try and fake and threaten and hedge on those pipes. And so a lot of that teaching is stretching so that you can get that late approach, which we call a wind dodge, so that you can get to the backside. Just to build on the drill, you can also do it from X. We do the same action with a big little from X, and then you just have your adjacent and your skip, or your skip becomes your adjacent based on where you're dodging and how you carry through X. So you can build on this drill in so many different ways, which I think is really helpful for us offensively, and as well defensively, forced to play through those situations on ball and off ball.
I also like that we're going to watch Princeton here, because I would argue Mike Sowers might be the best guy in the country at hanging guys up in front of the goal and stretching X. So I do think that's going to be pretty cool to watch and see how that applies here. You guys want to jump into my drill for 2 minutes?
Yes.
Sure. All right, we'll jump into my drill here. We call it rough and rowdy 3-on-3s.
Ooh, baby.
All right.
Great name.
Yeah, we try to promote a little physicality here. We used to, Yale has a drill similar to this. They call it Fight Club. We adapted it and took it a step further and call it Rough and Rowdy.
Do you have to citation that name with the Barstool team, or?
Maybe we can work out some type of sponsorship deal.
Got it.
But, you know, we haven't figured it out yet. So for the purpose of setup, this is from the fall. In the fall, we did a lot of our middies were playing both ways. And early on, our face-off guys were doing a lot of the defense. So if you see some really brutal short stick defense, there's a good chance it's a face-off guy. But the way the drill is set up, so we have 3 lines here. One right here, one down on the wing, one down on the wing. The ball always starts with basically like an inbounds pass from top center, and that guy has the option to throw either way. So everybody's got to be ready to play on the initial. Whichever way he goes, they're going to play 2-on-2. So here he fakes, actually goes this way. So they're going to go 2-on-2 here. Defensively, we've got to evaluate where are we on the field. We have the goal move back. We're in the girls' crease here. So you've got a little bit of like the fan as a reference point. And I'll touch kind of like our pick ideas in a second after I talk about the drill setup. But what we're working on here is now this is a 2-on-2. Offensively, Coach Kelleher likes these guys to really probe and try to get the middle and try to get top side. If we don't get it, roll back. Let's repick. Let's not be afraid to be patient here. And then what they're reading is if they can get to the middle and get down Main Street, either I'm going to run down the middle and shoot, or if they can get us to go adjacent, which I don't want us to do, and why you probably won't see many of them, because I do hammer our guys, your job is not to go adjacent here. But if they do get us to go adjacent, then they can activate this guy by throwing ahead and letting him step into a shot. Nice. So what you'll see a lot for us is we have separated the field into 2 areas. We have the Bronx, which is the area in front of our net. You don't come into the Bronx. It's a tough place, right? So the area directly in front of our net, it's kind of like 12 by 12, you know, kind of like the width of the hash is roughly maybe a little wider and then 12 yards high. Basically, we want to apply a lot of ball pressure there. We don't want guys to be able to just step in and shoot it over the pick. And then everything else is Omaha, like Omaha, Nebraska, right? What do you think of when you think of Omaha, Nebraska? It's spacious. It's the Great Plains of the Midwest, right? So if we're out in Omaha, which is out on the wings, anything from the back of the crease to the end line is considered Omaha, part of why we play off. And that dictates sort of the ball pressure and off-ball positioning. Anything outside the box is considered Omaha. So our primary function in Omaha is we want to navigate the pick first and foremost, and that can be loosening up, getting below the pick, rather than applying a ton of ball pressure, because I'd rather just keep the matchup. And then our off-ball guy, your job is to give your guy enough space to navigate the pick. If you're right up on your guy in Omaha, it's now a double pick, and he's got to give even more space. So you are going to see we are getting close to the fringe of the Omaha-Bronx border here. But what you'll see is a lot of our off-ball guys, they do step off to let our guy through the pick action here. Right, so you see our guy can easily navigate that. Now, if we were in the Bronx, let's say we're a little tighter, like really in this red arc, I'd want our on-ball guy. You hear Bronx, Bronx, Bronx from the guy covering the picker. You've got to step up and ball pressure that guy away from the pick action, right? If you step up, you won't allow him to run off the pick the way he wants. He's got to change his path. The picker's got to change their path, and you might even negotiate a moving pick. And when we're in the Bronx, too, we want our off-ball guy stepped up on his man so that if we do have contact, we can just switch it and be right on it, because we cannot just sit off and let them shoot.
Not trying to pump your tires here, Coach, but that's sick that you use language not only like pick left, but where the pick is. That's always interesting.
How so our verbiage is pick left or right, and then where you are on the field. Pick left, that's Bronx. Cool. Pick left, Omaha. And that signals to the guy on ball. And now listen, you should have an idea where you are on the field. It shouldn't be like, wait, I'm in the Bronx? When did that happen, right? Like, you should have an idea. But it does give the on-ball guy an indication of where your brain is. Well, I view we're in Omaha. I'm going to loosen up. You get around that pick.
Yeah, I love those reference points too, because like you guys, it looks like you have your own lacrosse stadium. You might play in other stadiums where it's football. I think coaches sometimes defensively get so technical, and then you all of a sudden are playing at like Sholikoff Field and there's no lines. You're like, what's the difference between like 8 yards and 9 yards? And like guys get thrown off.
And also what I'll say too is like, listen, I say for like this drill, because the drill's starting kind of right at the edge of what would be considered the Bronx and Omaha. And one thing that I definitely try to do is tell our guys, like, I'm not like obsessed with you identifying Bronx or Omaha correctly. I'm more obsessed with you and the other guy doing the same thing.
Yeah.
So you might see a couple of the guys in this drill approach it like it's Bronx. You might see a couple of guys approach it like it's Omaha. I don't really care as long as we navigate the pick or we play the 2-on-2 the same way with the two guys.
Mm-hmm. Can you run it? I want to watch. Yeah, let's see more of this.
That's two freshmen. We get contact. We got to switch. And I don't love
moving to me.
Our on-ball guy does a terrible job of dictating to this guy where he can go. And then he almost finds the pick. It's probably moving, but still, we're not on the same page there, two freshmen. And honestly, Coach Kelleher is probably going to be coaching this guy up. They get something. If this guy's more active and can step in, I think this is a primary throw ahead.
Yeah.
Off shot. This was the first day we ever did this drill, so our guys are feeling it out a little bit.
Now, Coach, you guys ever do this from X and just change your point of pick or point of contact?
Yeah, we'll do a little bit from X. Sometimes we'll even do it like not so much directly in the middle, but like cones stacked. So 2 on this side, 2 on that side, and throw down, and then let the guy go set maybe like a razor pick or just a straight up down pick, just to mix it up a little bit.
Got it. Cool. Oh, let's get in there. Yeah.
These guys approach it more like the Bronx than they do Omaha, right? Because we are pretty deep here, right? You can see our guy on the picker right up on him. Our guy on ball is trying to provide some ball pressure, which we get contact, which happens, so we got to switch. And the big thing, I think this gets lost in translation too, just in general in pick play, if you get that switch, you got to get 2 guys on 2 guys, right? Like if you call switch, both guys have to make contact with their new guy. Because what you'll find sometimes is the kid that guarded the original ball carrier will just kind of like drift and follow it, even though they switched. And then that's a quick throwback, and it's right down your throat. I think our guys do a pretty good job of staying organized here. This time we apply a little more ball pressure, get kind of a free switch back, and we'll give up that shot. We're cool with that. Low angle, our goalie handles that. He's a big boy.
So you could really evolve this drill into Silipo's drill. Throw a guy at X, bang, you're in it.
All right, we get a switch there. Oh, a little check. I also tell our guys, you'll see us, our defensemen, chase it out of the drill. I tell our D guys, you got to overkill it. Even if it's out of the drill, you got to go pick it up.
Nice.
One thing we'll do with this drill, too, is we build up. We'll do our pick action here when we work on maybe some weavage, where this guy now doesn't have the option to roll. And now he has to either get downhill, throw ahead, and repick the other side.
Cool. Nice.
I like it.
So that's our build up. I don't have the film for us, but we do build up to that.
Well, I think that's the point of both of these drills, Coach. I mean, you can create these drills, these small parts that simulate your whole, and I think my old man was always, who coached for a long time.
Deerfield.
That was DA, Tabor Academy, how you doing? NEPSAC, Coach Hall of Fame, all this other stuff. He's a real legend. I'm just an average Joe. But he always talked about working on the parts. If you can make your parts really good, and the whole will take care of itself. So
do your kids embrace doing drills that are like the parts of the whole, or are they like, oh, coach, like, let's scrimmage?
We if you're going to look at our practice plan week in, week out, 80% of it is parts.
Mm-hmm.
Your clear ride is part of the whole, obviously, or the whole, and your 6-on-6 is still a part, because there's so many different aspects of our game, whether it's face-off, clear ride, the special teams, OD, that you're really working on parts no matter what you're doing. The scrimmage is the only whole when you really think about it.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but we emphasize it. And I think this generation, they want to know why. Tell us why. Tell us why. Okay, well, here's why. Because this is our Frogger, and here's our front side push, and here's our backside skip, and we're going to 2-minute exchange, and we're going to come from the crease, and we're going to OTC. And then they're like, oh, okay, I get it. But that's the kids we're working with, the student athletes at least.
Yeah, I think you don't get too much pushback if you explain why. And not to beat that point to the ground, like one thing that we started doing this year is, I don't know about you guys, Mike, I'm not a huge like post the practice plan guy, because I subscribe to like, well, in a game, is there a plan of what's going to happen every quarter? Like, you got to be ready for anything, right? So we shifted off of that. We had been practice plan posters, and I found our guys to use it as a little bit of a crutch. Like if we deviate, they'd be like, wait, one-on-ones wasn't on the practice plan. We're like, well, what does it matter? Just be ready to play lacrosse, right? So what we shifted to this year was, rather than post a practice plan, we basically put practice objectives. And it was like, here are the skills that we are touching today in practice. And it'd be like defense versus 1-4 pairs, defense versus invert, clearing versus 10-man. And then we would just sprinkle that stuff throughout practice, ground balls and skills, and just mix that up. So our guys knew going in, okay, here are the skills or concepts we're working on today, but the coaches are going to kind of mix up how they're bringing them. It's not going to be rough and rowdy 3-on-3. It's just to work on picks today.
Can I go rogue for a second? Because to John's point, I like that as well. And I think to this generation, everybody wants to know why. And it becomes a crutch as to where it's like, oh, well, we're at 8 possessions. That means we're almost done with practice. And it's like, no, you should be excited to be there. And we post practice, and I think this might be something beneficial for guys moving forward, just based on kind of just taking a peek on what we do. And this is what a practice plan kind of looks like, and we do it by the minute. And then, like to your point, John, we focused on what's the focus? What are the skills that we're doing? So here's the plan. Yellow is what our competitive drills are, and then here's our focus. And it's to your point. I really like that idea of let's just post this. Right. Because again, if they know that we're at positional, our last positional, that means they're close to their sprinting and we're done with practice. And I really hate that aspect of it's like, oh, we're almost done. Like we're almost there. It's like, no. You should be excited to be there. Coach Long, who played at Navy, one of the greatest players of all time, always said he hated everything in his Navy life besides lacrosse. Right. It's like he looked so forward to his practice time. And I think that's a big part of recruiting and getting the right guys in your program so that you can create that where it's like, this is what I've been looking forward to this all day. Because I can't speak for you, John, but all we do as coaches all day is plan and look forward to the 2 hours we have our guys.
Yeah, for sure.
And it's like,
love it.
Like, give me what I'm giving you.
I thought that was a great inside
University
the lines.
Of Florida.
We're not posting practice plans. Concepts only.
Get them out.
Good inside the lines, fellas. We appreciate the insight because I think it's great for high school and college coaches alike to kind of see how you guys operate and run and communicate those important concepts with your teammates. I think we should enter the film room here.
If this was a scout thing for them on these up picks, they must have seen that on film. And it just looks like those two guys are not on the same page on the pick.
Well, here's our drill that we do just in a different way. It's like, all right, pick, throw it back, one-on-one. They're not going. Here you are, middle of the field, getting the shot off. Oh, look at this, another pick.
So they're playing the twos behind there.
Yep. Yeah, right. 2 behind, right, because we've been having this conversation. For our viewers, we've been having the conversation. Are you playing 2 behind or are you going off and having the off-ball guy play above the crease? Down the hill. Great fundamentals. What do you think of these fundamentals?
Can you go back to the 2-on-2 behind? This is just like such a pet peeve of mine, and I know we've discussed this. So they're hugging up on the pick, fine, and they get around it, freeze. Tell me why the guy guarding the picker goes to the backside here. Play it.
Instead of rolling right here.
Why not sit on the ball side pipe? That guy's literally in the girls' crease. We're playing 5-on-5 without you. But if you go to the ball side, and I know it doesn't matter here, but get to the ball side pipe.
Right. Well, like you said earlier, like, look how deep he is. You talk to your guys about being deep.
Yeah.
Look at his depth. He's not going to stretch here. If he's above the cage, the shot might not happen.
Right. Sowers coming up for the ball.
Well, I've lost more face-off guys due to poaching that, I'm a little
yeah, there's a lot of salt
out of the sport.
Yeah, it's like real football guys say, get the kickers out of the game, the field goal kickers, get them out. Here's a pick. Oh, it's so simple.
Yeesh.
I like that little
too easy.
Yeah, well, this is what I was talking about before. It's like, how do you manipulate defenses without a slides? There it is.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Little box fake. Bang.
We don't want to switch to Sowers, but we're going to overhedge.
Freeze. I don't know what Hopkins is doing here. I feel like these picks, and listen, Mike Sowers is a really good player. I totally get that. But how deep is his shooting porch?
Right. Probably
do we need a ton of ball pressure way outside what would be the hashes near the top of the box? I would argue getting around this pick should be paramount, so that we just watched on the last one, the short stick chases it, then they get a terrible approach and they get the middle. I don't mind the short stick sitting there, but they don't look like they're on the same page at all. And now you're setting these guys up for failure every time on this approach.
Well, and coach, you're 6-on-4 in the scoring area right now. Right. You're 6-on-4, and through this, they look like they're ready to help, but you give up a decent look, which looks like Vaccaro, maybe one of my favorite Long Island players of all time. Oh, so tough. Yeah, Hewlett, right?
Yep.
Oh, Verdaro.
Yeah, Verdaro.
Yeah.
What an idiot. Yeah, sorry.
So Hopkins going with the two behind two. Again, freeze. And again, it doesn't matter. But man, I would love to see the off-ball guy trail this a little bit rather than go backside.
Well, this is your off versus two behind, coach. They are a pure two behind team, it seems. And if he trails this and we throw it, we're rotating.
Yeah, and I'm not saying he's got to go anywhere. I would like to see him be shaded towards the ball side.
This is great, though. Same side, follow your slide, read your man, not the ball. Great release, fundamental.
Good skewer.
Great skewer. Good point. Getting some looks here, coach.
Yeah.
But we're forgetting the front side adjacent. You got to always have an adjacent, in my opinion, when you're dodging from behind. You can always clear through or look to stretch, but somebody's got to be showing up because in that instance there, you could have a shot.
All right, another wide pick.
Sowers height.
To me, we're Omaha there. If we talk about our pick rules, getting around this pick is first and foremost biggest thing that needs to happen. Well, and there's no reason why 15 yards away from the goal at the goal line, we can't navigate a pick.
Right. Well, especially when the best player in the country's got it.
Yeah, you have to get around it.
This is great. Look at them all staring. And Princeton's doing an awesome job of just moving. I'm just going to keep moving. I'm going to move. You're going to make sure you're watching me. I'm going to move. Oh, here's Vidar. Oh, how you doing?
He literally made him fall down.
Oh, yeah, let's back that up, I guess.
You like how Vidar caught that loaded bang.
Yep.
Yeah, loaded. Exactly, coach. Catch it with your hands where you shoot and pass.
No cradle.
Great fun to watch the back leg. See how he finishes. Love it. God. Wait, Sowers got knocked to the ground. Ooh. Hey, what's up?
All right,
we're going 5-on-5 sub game.
I like that. So you get around the pick.
Great job with that V hold. Hopkins does a great job getting out of it, but Princeton doing a good job not allowing him to roll to the middle of the field there.
Another up pick.
Smooth. This is really smooth.
I'm all right with the switch there. That's different than top of the box.
That's Bronx, right?
Yeah, that's the Bronx.
Up.
Little baseball bat, hug and baseball.
Yeah, that's how Lehigh plays it.
I don't hate that. I just find that, and I view it as a defenseman. Anytime I was trying to get around a pick, if a guy stepped out, that made me think they were switching.
Right.
So I try to visually not have our guys do that.
Right.
All right. Baseball bat again.
Here's Princeton following it like you talked about. So you get a baseball bat coach.
Yep.
And then here comes the pole.
See, I love that. Now there's no inside roll.
Right.
And he does a good job of finding his man, too, as the ball works towards X. And that guy's not really a threat to get to the goal.
Really excited about that. We might have to get Mads on. We're going to have to get Mads on.
Pick down.
Pick down.
Better job getting around the pick.
Great job here. We talk about this at BU. There's one thing I don't like about it, but he's dictating the next dodge.
Mm-hmm.
This is really good IQ from – this is Slusher, actually, freshman from Oregon. And it's Oregon, folks, not Oregon. My mom grew up in Eugene. She also used to tell us growing up, if you say Oregon, you get shot. So it's Oregon. But, again, dictates the dodger. Bang, I'm going. I wish he got behind his defender. It's like, I don't care if you need to get to the education side. Get behind him. Just to manipulate him a little bit, make him look at you. Great ball movement. Oh. Ooh,
a flag, though. It's a good move.
I don't like that call. Kind of fell into that.
Yeah. All right, let's see what Coach Madelon's got for the man up.
Yeah, what do you got, Mads? This is the one thing that head coaches love to hang on to. Man up.
Little set change. Oh, I love it.
Don't move it. Watch the ball. Watch the pass from Sowers. Here's the stick. Don't move it. Bang.
Mike, I'd love to hear your opinion on this because I know we discussed. Can you go back to like right when Sowers catches it top center? We discussed this a little bit, Duke Notre Dame, and when I watched it back, freeze. So we were saying in that game, the top center guy is getting out because it's Costabile, which I totally get. But is Hopkins getting anything out of their top center guy right now? What is he doing right now that's giving them anything?
Well, he's not on his hands.
He's not pressuring the ball, and he's not guarding the high crease.
It's a great point. It's a great point. And I think to your point, you said it. They're probably talking about when he gets the ball, can we get the hand so he can't survey? Yeah. We ran a 3-3 with Chris, and he was really good at being here. And I think he's got more range than Michael here. But, again, doing no help, if nothing, hurting the adjacents. The pipes are covering tight. That's why this 3-3 look is great. I love the 3-3 look, and Matt actually talked about it, where you're hugging both pipes. It's like, are you going to give these up? Especially when you have a 7 to 10 yard crease, you're allowed to kind of space that, and then you just play the math. Here's your 4 and 3.
And to me, Mike, can you go back to right before he throws it? I'm going to be over the top defensive coach here. Go back to when Mike has it. Yeah, freeze. Like he's at 19 right now, and his posture and body language is not that of a guy that's looking to step in to shoot. Now, if he's seeing something different, maybe he would be. But man, what I would love to see is, Mike, if you could circle that top center defender.
Yep.
I would almost rather see him in like 2 more yards, maybe sideways.
Yeah, let's get him right here.
Yeah, with his stick inside so that he can check inside. And then basically say like, all right, Sowers, if you're going to crow hop into me, then I'm going to step into you, which now makes it a tougher feed too. Smaller space, right? And that might buy the other guys time to help out in there, right? If you make Sowers if you make him get tighter to the goal to then feed, those wings are harder passes, and the top-down feed is a harder pass.
For sure, and you teach skewers, ride or die, So if Sowers pulls back looking to shoot, you're going to have that opportunity.
Right.
So it looks like it was locked in, fellas, and now we're doubling the rock. How do you feel about that, John? You're up a man. Coach Kelleher wants the ball for his man up. Are you saying, Coach, let's double, or I don't want to give up a chance for a goal?
It depends, but we usually just play off.
Yeah. None of like you get a flag, you can kind of make things up. Now we're like kind of upset at each other.
Yeah.
What happened?
Also, I feel like the double like never works out. Like it's like they always end up splitting it or getting around it, and it's like they're getting a great look when you were man up.
I was just saying, going back to the doubles, like why do you think defensemen have a tough time like doubling the ball in the boys' game? Because in the girls' game, it's common anywhere as you get closer to the cage, doubles are like the frequency of doubles go up and they're effective. It's easier to trap people. Like, yeah, there's an extra player on the field, but in the guys game, like, why do you think it's hard to execute that?
I mean, I would say the best double teams are ones that involve very little stick checks. And I think what happens is guys get a little stick check happy and don't take good angles and don't just squeeze people between two bodies. They want to throw checks, and then they put themselves out of a good spot to make a play. That would be, I mean, and maybe that fits your girls' game. Like, they're not throwing a million stick checks. They're not throwing big hatchet checks, right?
No, just go right to your hip and match stick.
To play to the next part of it, it's like great offense, and then what do you guys do little? Do you stay or do you switch?
It depends. Like, if we're Omaha, stay. If we're Bronx, just auto switch.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like we never said hard picks. It's same size.
Right. I think it makes it like defensively, same thing. Like if we're Omaha, it's more like you should be getting around the pick because you're not even near the goal.
Right.
Oof. All right, what do we got here,
Man,
Mike?
This is gonna boil you up. Well, I'll tell you what we are. We're 6-4 in the scoring area, and we're getting underneath and scoring.
Oh.
Man, that's gonna right. Great job rejecting, and this is where, just like in hoop, you know, where lacrosse pick game, it's got to come from. You know, here's your helper on the pick, and as a coach, are you always teaching you got to force them through the pick, regardless of the situation, or because in this situation here, now again, we're pressing Sowers.
Yeah,
we don't want him to get the ball. But again, it's like you got no help underneath. Great read by the defender, or excuse me, the offensive player to get underneath.
Yeah, there I would just like not so much the picker. I'd like to see the three guys on the backside get more organized and get one sort of towards that half of the field. You have three to cover one crease guy on the dodge.
Let's go to Sowers. Give me more Sowers. Oh, here we go. You're gonna shut me all the way up here? Nah.
Well, I'll pick. Again, I find this very interesting what they were doing with the short stick there.
Oh,
good luck.
For all our shooters out there, you ever go high to high, you give your coach ammo. But Coach Long, if you went high to high and you got saved, you heard it. I can still remember the last game of my career, a save, high to high, and him on the sidelines being like, high to high, man, you know, killing me. Allie, throw it through. One more. How Doin? Pick.
Wing pick.
Great motion. I love the motion. And this is great. I saw it to my guys all the time. It's like, yeah, it's 5-on-6. Who cares? They still got to cover us. As long as you're smart, they still got to cover us. As you saw before, Princeton scored 4-on-6. So I like it.
Hey, Mikey, do you guys stat the percentage of times kids draw a slide based on the amount of dodges they take in a game?
We, so I'll stat how many times they're on the field, how many runs they get individually. I'm not statting how many slides they draw. I'm statting more the whole, how many wind dodges we create, which is that when we get to that compressed state and we throw the ball and we get that like late approach that we talked about, we stat that because that's a team stat. I'm not big on, breaking it down to the individual because we're such a 6 hands, which is our culture. One guy scores, all 6 guys are responsible. And so I like to do all of my stats are team based in terms of our 6-on-6 offense.
So even
it's not a bad thought though.
But even like individual stats, like goals, assists, like you don't care about that stuff. You're just looking at all team, like mostly offensive oriented statistics where it's all 6 guys.
I mean, yeah, I'm statting goals, assists for sure. But then we also do hockey assists. We stat that, which is important. And that can be the first dodge. Like if I dodge and there's 3 passes from where we score, I can like the dodge created all of it. The first slide created all of it. So to that sense, I am statting it as a hockey assist for sure. I love this. Let's make Sowers the picker. We would do that at times with Chris because it's like we're not going to switch. And if we switch, now I got a short stick on Sowers. On Michael here. I love doing that. I love doing that. and especially an unselfish guy like him, and Chris, and a lot of those top players, it's like, all right, fine, they're going to screw this up, and my teammate scores. That's all that matters. Oh man, I forgot something.
Like, you can agree or disagree with me too. I feel like when you have one of those guys too, it makes it so much easier to dictate to the defense, right? Because it's predictable how they're going to play against you.
Totally. Yep. Watch this. Watch Sowers here. This is beautiful. This is beautiful. Hey, here's to your 100% here, Corey. Hey, get out of the way. No, move. I don't want you there because I'm gonna break some ankles. Let's see what happens.
I think they're trying to set up a pick, maybe.
Oh yeah,
GLE pick.
There it is. GLE screen. Oh, his vision is ridiculous. The skills in this, and John, I'll let you go after. I just want to talk about the skills here. Running away, throws a lefty same side skip, right, to a guy who's flipping his hips with a violent shot. That's like, you kidding me? Talk about parts that then equal the whole.
The coach on the
I mean, defensively,
here.
Mike, if you go back defensively, it's kind of funny because, like, I didn't love the way that they guarded this 2-on-2. Like, I actually like that they're playing off, but I'd like to see the guy closer to his man, you know? And then it's like that's not even really what hurts them. It ends up being the guys in front of the net, like we call scope. Like, you got to be able to see, ball you man, the old basketball, like shoot your guns, pistols. We call it scope. I kind of equate it to like Call of Duty, Fortnite. You got to have it all in your scope, right? Because that's how you connect these days, I guess. But these guys, Mike, run it when Sowers is going towards X. Give me like 2 second freeze. Like, we've got guys that are like chest to the ball. He's running directly behind the net. Are you going to slide to him there?
You're right, Coach. I mean, we've manipulated 2. We're playing 4-on-2.
Yeah, and like I don't know why. And again, going back to like reading body language and posture. Like, listen, he's Mike Sowers. He's awesome. I know we're probably gonna have to send help at some point, but that's probably the least threatening spot he could be to be a goal scorer.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So that's the last place where we should be chest to ball. We should be prioritizing everybody else when he's going directly behind the net.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So that to me is where that breaks down.
No, it's really well done. And this is where, again, Coach, I love when teams play off, because now you're making our numbers simpler, and we're playing we're playing 4-on-3. We're playing 4-on-3 because, we can manipulate somebody here, and it's just allowing us to create more space. We're cutting to grandma's house, eating with her a little bit to manipulate those guys that you're saying that are chest to ball inside, covering inside out. And now we're looking at a step down. So interesting. Really cool stuff. John, I love your perspective of the picks. And the language you guys use is awesome. Simplifying it. It's less is more.
Yeah, I'm not. Listen, I don't have a huge brain. I'm a Lacrosse guy, a Gettysburg guy, and I'm a big word clue guy. Bronx and Omaha, I thought felt appropriate for, what do you think of when you think of those areas? The Bronx, it's city, it's a little tight.
You also, when you get in the Bronx,
Omaha, you're out in the plains.
Yeah, when you get in the Bronx, you're in the Bronx, and if you're driving through Omaha, it's like, all right, this is different too. Like, I know
spacious out here.
Yeah, this is spacious. I feel this. This is good. This is good stuff, boys. We appreciate your insight here, playing picks.
This is awesome.
Yeah, this was great.
Good stuff, boys.
Hopefully, people like it as much as we do.
Yeah.
even if they don't, I think we found our virtual happy hour once this uplifts this whole Corona nonsense.
For sure. Hey, Gators, come see me. All right, let me know. Come see us. Actually, sorry, that was very selfish. Gators, come see us.